All right, welcome to If My People Bible Reading Part 26. We're in the book of Genesis and chapter 4, and it seems like we're dragging ourselves a bit because we're reading word for word, um, and I'm not skipping anything uh, that's necessary. We want to lay a strong foundation of the beginning of the Bible because why? Because the in the middle of the Bible through Isaiah, it says if you want to know everything, when you get to the end is revealed in the beginning. So we pay attention to the entire Bible from beginning to end. We read slowly at the beginning because a lot of people who are listening to me today, this could be the first time, and hopefully, if you're here and you started here, go back to part one. If My People Bible Reading Part 1, because you need to read and understand from the very beginning until we get to the end. Just don't jump into it like a lot of people do. Well, I want to know more about Jesus and the Lord, so I just pick up the Bible and I open the page and I just stick my finger here and I start reading. There have been so many Christians in the last 50, 60 years that I've been through as a young man to now my age that I've heard them say this. Yeah, it's divine. The Lord will pick me what I need to know today. I have heard ministers say that. Unbelievable. So we're going to read it word for word today, and we're going to get off my video image and go to the word because I want you to not miss anything. Take notes if necessary, but here we go. All right, we left her off yesterday in 13 where Cain got in trouble and he did something he shouldn't have done. He was downcast, and that doesn't mean he was upset. Downcast means he is angry. And why should Cain be angry about anything? That's a good one. Um, we're saying this, and I feel very comfortable about it. There have been two seeds in this world: a seed of Yeshua. This is my seed, who I planted in my garden, in my field. And then Yeshua says later on in the new covenant, he goes over and again, he details it by saying, someone came into my field. Now, it wasn't the seed just decided to alter itself and be a bad seed. Somebody planted a seed that was altered. And I'm saying, I myself, I have enough hair on me that I'm considered Neanderthal, that I'm considered some kind of a altered seed, and that I'm not pure Israel, not pure Jewish, none of that. I'm a Heinz 57 variety, more Scottish and Irish, but it doesn't make a difference. It goes all the way back to a bunch of other stuff that, in my opinion, has been altered, and our generations are now being altered through DNA manipulation. Our seed is altered. You grow corn, and it used to have to go out there the next fall and you just till it down, and then the next spring you put some chemicals and on it to kill the any other volunteer plants of corn that come up because this year you're planting you're going to plant another crop that's not corn. But no, man came along and his Monsanto and all these chemicals, Archer, Daniel Midland's, ADM, we feed the world. Yeah, they sure do. And you'll notice that those seeds do come up the next year, but they're stunted and they don't produce fruit. And it's all through genetically modified organic manipulation of the DNA. So, for those of you, any color of the rainbow, any color, we're all been messed with. But the Father says He can come in and clean all that up. Yeshua says that He will accept anyone who calls upon His name. And that doesn't mean I love Jesus. It means calls upon His name and hears and obey His instructions. And if you don't like the um, 613 Torah commandments in the Old Testament, well, that's just fine. But you are also stuck with the 1050 Torah commands that are harder in the new covenant to follow, such as in the old covenant. It's just uh, don't go out and kill somebody because you're going to get in trouble for it. Well, that's pretty hard to do. If you get in trouble, you're in big trouble. But the new covenant, which supposedly so many Christians say we're not under the law. Excuse me? Here's what Yeshua says. Hey, not only do I still hold the fact that you shouldn't go out there and kill somebody, murder them with malice and forethought, but you can't even think about it. You can't even think about it. Right? And you can't. So today, we're in verse 14. We start there. Today, you are driving me from the land. Now, this is Cain talking. And I will be hidden from your presence. And I will be, um, you know what? That should be, let's fix that. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. But Yahweh said to him, not so. If anyone kills Cain, he will suffer. And that should not be a capital there. There we go. Whoops. Okay. He will suffer vengeance 7 times over. Then Yahweh, and look at that. Put a mark on Cain so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain went out from Yahweh's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Okay, he left Yahweh's presence, so we have who? We have Adam and Eve, and we have Cain. Cain leaves, so Adam and Eve have no one. So Cain went out and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. No problem with that. Cain lay with his wife. Uh-oh. And she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. So 2 things here. So he lays with a woman. Where'd she come from? Oh, well, the Bible doesn't mention that, and it's silent. And then he had incest with his sister, and he gave birth to Enoch. Oh, well, the DNA was different in those days, and you could have sex with your sister. Christian ministers are telling us what? What do we say? We say that in the first earth age, Genesis 1:1, there was an earth, there was creation, there was all kinds of life. It was there for hundreds, if not millions. It is very, very old, and the evidence is everywhere. Very obvious, Mr. Minister, Mr. Pastor, Mr. Know-it-all. Goodness sakes. Cain was then building a city. A city! Well, how many people does it take to build a city? 2, 4, 29, 14? Let's go on. It's verse 17. And he named it after his son Enoch. It gets good here. Comment. To understand where Cain found a wife, much less a city, you will need to fully understand cunning and deceit, right? Beginning with Cain and Abel, with Abel and Eve, and the serpent, all were involved beyond just lies and deception. A little something going on there, just like it was in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. What was going on in Sodom? Oh, sodomy? What was going on in the days of Noah? What's going on today? Adam and Eve's children did not have offspring from animals or apes or any unlike kind, because the seed doesn't work. So somewhere the hundreds, dozens, thousands of people that Enoch built with a city with, along with his dad, was built. Very easy to understand, extremely easy. But Adam was the first. Adam was the first breathed breath of the Father into him, just as the spirit, the soul of uh, Johann the Baptist, of John the Baptist, even in his mother's womb, the spirit was leaping in that womb prior to being born. Think on these things. Don't give any trust in these churches these days. All right, we did not evolve as most college professors teach, but that stuff doesn't work either. We didn't come from apes, and we didn't come from dolphins, but we do understand that Yahweh made all kinds of animals and life originally to be in shalom and in harmony, peace. Genesis 1:1. We understand that a man today is working feverishly to create life as they see fit, which is Genesis 1:2 to 3. Read that. DNA altered forms, not like uh, not like, the opposite of what Yahweh commanded. Hasatan from the beginning, Genesis 1, corrupted the earth in all fashion by altering life, making violence a part of the early first age. Violence? Dinosaurs, perfect example. When the earth was new in Genesis 2, Yahweh knew that it was his and what was not. Today we see violence in men, we call them beasts. Many of what was called beast and permitted on the ark were human. Why would Father allow Noah to bring animals and beasts, that means humans, onto the ark? Because those humans were created by the Father, not Satan. And those had good seed in them and bad seed in them. That means altered seed. Altered seed. So he loves us as much as he loved them. Then he brought them onto the ark, and he loves us, although we're messed up DNA, mixed, altered, bad seed, good seed individuals. We have a choice in us, every one of us, to live in sin or to repent from it. Let me go back to reading. Cities would have already existed. Cities would have already existed when Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden. They did not have the same ruach breathed in them as Adam, because that came from Adam, but a like kind creature, a beast, mated with Cain, would pass that DNA onto them and into the population of the world. So where did he get his wife? From a beast. It is clear Torah violation for Cain to have married his sister that would have come from Eve. Well, it happens other place in the Bible. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's right. The Bible's just telling you it did happen. But it doesn't say, and the father approved it and thought it was great that Solomon have hundreds of wives and hundreds of sexual concubine partners. There you go. This is what most Bible commentaries say to explain the cities in the plain. They just say, oh, it came from Adam and Eve. We know that all who call upon Adonai can be saved, even these people. However, only a remnant survived to enter Noah's ark. Wow, that's that's a that's a pile. That's a pile you just saw there, and I know that's a huge amount to take on. Um, but it had to be read. I had to do it, um, and I put it in front of you so you could take a look at it and get your own Bibles out and think about what I just said. It today the Darwinian theory is flown out the window. The colleges don't teach that anymore. They did for since the 1930s, by the way. They did. And now all of a sudden, these professors, oh, it's totally changed. And they don't even mention that no more. They just pretend it didn't exist, that they taught that for almost 80 years in colleges and jammed it into Christians' minds and non Christians and Orthodox Judaism. They jammed it in their minds and they screwed up all that. And that's what we live in, a mixed, screwed up society right now. But the Ruach that lives within you, and if you're listening to me on this, you would have thrown this out a long time ago if you were a typical Christian with about 3 ounces of intelligence, because there's sheep out there, and sheep are dumber than rocks, and you can't turn a sheep into a shepherd. I'm talking to the shepherds, and you know who you are. You're still here, and you're going to hear some good stuff all the way through the end. And I'm just reading to the word and letting you see by looking out the window and simply looking at the nature that Yahweh made, what it's all about. So it's taken time to do this, but by the time we get going through a couple more chapters in Genesis, we'll be able to move much faster, because first of all, we got to get the foundation in here, and don't believe a word I have said. Test it, look outside, and read the word. Go to the Father in your prayer for this. And for that, I'll see you next time.